All right, now it's recording. All right, again, we're going to start tonight by asking a question, and our question is, what's the yuckiest thing that you have eaten? Okay, so take just a minute to think about that. This is one of our morning chips that we had. Okay, think about this question. All right. All right, so let's start. All right, Cameron has his hand up. Cameron, tell us what's the yuckiest thing you've eaten?
Ketchup.
I couldn't hear you. What?
Ketchup.
You don't like ketchup?
Not loading.
All right. Lily Shue.
Mustard.
You don't like mustard? Lucas?
Zucchini.
Zucchini? You don't like zucchini?
I love zucchini bread.
Aaliyah?
Tomatoes.
You don't like tomatoes? Billy Shelton?
Shrimp.
Shrimp? You
I
don't
hate
like
seafood.
shrimp?
Just
Oh, I
seafood
like
in
shrimp.
general.
I had shrimp for supper the last 2 nights. It's really good. I love it. Briley?
Oysters.
Ooh, I don't think I've ever eaten oysters. They seem kind of slimy.
Oh, slimy.
Are they? How about
Yes,
Manny?
my dad sells them, and they're slimy.
Where'd Manny go? There you are, Manny. Do you have something that's the yuckiest that you've ever eaten?
Come here.
No? Have it? Say it again. Tomatoes?
No. Potatoes.
Oh, potatoes. You don't like potatoes? Oh my.
I like French fries.
French fries.
Okay, Manny, do you have something?
do?
Yeah. Onions.
Oh, you don't like onions?
Yeah.
I love onions.
No.
Okay. All right. Maggie, do you have anything that you want to tell us about that's the yuckiest thing you've ever eaten?
Mustard.
Mustard?
No, mustard. Broccoli.
Broccoli? Mia?
Broccoli too.
Broccoli? Okay. All right. Well, we got a lot to get started on tonight. I sent you a couple of sheets today that you should have printed off about something we're going to talk about. On Monday, we started talking, we continued talking about measuring angles, okay? All right, so when we were measuring angles, you had a sheet you were supposed to do and send back to me as your Zoom project, your Zoom activity, sorry. And I didn't get them all. I think I only got one. Or, yeah, maybe 2. Okay?
Of what?
Of the measuring angles activity. The one that where you had to follow the path. You had to figure out what the angle was.
Oh, I did that one.
And then you had to follow the path to the next angle according
This
to what
one?
the measurement was. Hold it up.
Which one?
We did it.
Hold it a little
Lily.
closer, Lily. I can't see it. Lily,
Oh,
yes, that one.
Out of the way so that you can concentrate on school.
Okay.
my mom printed it to me, but I haven't gotten it. I have not done it.
Okay. Do you want me to share it with you and show you which one it is?
I know which one it is. It's downstairs now.
Okay.
I've done it.
All right. Well, that was supposed to be completed by tonight because I signed that on Monday, and you were supposed to complete that. Okay.
I did complete it. I just didn't take a picture.
Okay.
Same.
I don't know.
So you were supposed to follow the path. Like you were supposed to start at the first block, and the
It's
first
a maze.
block, what you were supposed to figure out what the angle was, and then it gave you several paths you could take from that block. Well, the first one I'll tell you was 105 degrees, so you were supposed to follow that block straight up. You were supposed to make a path, and then figure out what the next angle was, and follow that block, whatever the degree was. Yes, that angle right there. See, 105, you were supposed to move up to that next block. Okay? All the blocks would not be, you won't travel through all the blocks, but you're going to make a path all the way to the end. Okay? So you were supposed to do that so that you could practice naming the degrees of angles. Okay? That was what your practice was. All right? So the next thing we're going to talk about tonight is something else to do with geometry. Okay? We're going to talk about symmetry. Who knows what symmetry is? You ever heard that word symmetry? Manny, tell me what symmetry means.
It's when if you cut something in half and the other side looks exactly the same.
That is exactly right. Manny is exactly right. When you take something and you can divide it into two pieces, and one half is exactly like the other half, then you have symmetry, okay?
Like a circle?
Like a circle. If you folded a circle in half, it would be the same size and same shape, right? Both sides, okay? So I have a little PowerPoint here. Okay, someone's rattling something. Okay, let's try not to rattle, make that noise because it's other people can't hear, okay? All right, so I have a PowerPoint here that I'm going to share with you that's going to talk a little bit about symmetry. Actually, I'm going to talk about it, okay? Okay, who's doing that? Whoever is dropping something or shaking something, or y'all need to stop. Or else I'll have to mute everybody and then you won't be able to ask questions or talk. Okay? All right. So here is a screen we're going to talk about right now. All right. So what is symmetry? Can everybody see the screen?
Yeah.
I'll turn the whole phone off.
Let me try to get y'all ball back up here so I can see you. Because when I share my screen, I kind of lose you guys. All right. So this is what is symmetry. And as Manny just told us, it means that you have two sides of something that is the same. Okay, if I made a heart, okay, everybody do this with your hands, make a heart. Is this side identical to this side? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, it is
Yes.
identical. If I were to draw an imaginary line right down through the center, this side and this side would be identical, and so they are symmetrical. They have symmetry. If they were not the same, they would not be have symmetry or be symmetrical, okay? All right. So, symmetry is when one half of a figure makes a mirror image of the other half. Just like this star here. You draw an imaginary line down the middle, and this half is identical to this half, okay? Then you have lines of symmetry that a line that divides a figure into two congruent. This is a new vocabulary word for you. Congruent. C-O-N-G-R-U-E-N-T. Congruent means equal. If they are symmetrical, they are congruent. Okay? Has two congruent halves that are mirror images of each other. This arrow, if you draw an imaginary line through the middle, this side, if you folded it over, would be identical to the other side. So it has a line of symmetry. The line of symmetry is that line down the middle. Okay? If you are not sure sometimes, you can trace and cut one half of a figure and fold it to the other half to see if the edges match, just like this heart here, like we said a minute ago. If you took your heart and you folded it over, okay, the two sides would be the same shape, same size, they would be identical, okay? Whoops, went too far. If you're not sure, sometimes you can trace and cut one half of the figure and fold it. Have y'all ever cut a heart out by folding it in half and then cutting off the fold?
It always messes up for me.
It messes up for me. I can't do it.
Well, if you take a piece of paper and you start cutting it into a half of a heart shape, when you open it back up from the fold, both sides are the same, okay? All right, so now it's going to be your turn to answer this question right here on my next slide, okay? So take a look at this. Is this figure, does it have symmetry?
No.
No, it doesn't. Because if you look at it, when you fold this over, is this top half going to meet where that one is?
We
No.
can see the answer.
I know. The answer's on there because I didn't put it on slide. I didn't put it on presentation. If I did, this wouldn't be here down here. Okay? So when you slide this over, it wouldn't match. They would be offset. Instead of coming together like this, they would be offset like this. They would meet half part way. Okay? Look at this one. This one does have symmetry because if you were to fold this side over, it would exactly match the other side. So it has symmetry. All right? So that is what symmetry is. Okay? Now, the couple of sheets that I sent you last night, or no, this morning, sorry. This morning I sent you a couple of sheets. One of them, that's not the one I want, is, oh, that was the wrong one. The other one was the right one.
There's one with houses and one's with letters.
Yeah, and I have them both up here on my thing, or down below where I can click on them to bring them up to show you guys, and I have just pulled up the wrong one. All right, so this one here, let's take a look at this sheet because some of them might not have it.
Yay, letters.
All right. This is a sheet that you should have got from me. It says alphabet symmetry.
I got it.
I've got it.
All right. All right. It says, tell whether the dotted lines on each letter represent a line of symmetry. Okay. So then it says to write yes or no. So look at C. The way that the line of symmetry is shown on C, do you think that C is symmetrical or not? When I
We
fold,
have an answer key.
Yeah, I have the answer key.
Same. It says all the answers
See?
on it.
did I send y'all the wrong
Answer
one?
key.
Oh, I sent y'all the wrong one then, because I have that too. I meant to.
On the bottom, it didn't draw it for us though. It just said what letter it was on the bottom.
What, down here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just says what letter it is. It didn't draw it for us.
Yes, but I must have clicked on the wrong one when I sent y'all this, because this is, I was supposed to send you this one without the answers. I have the answer key on here too. All right, so look at C. When I fold this side over to match that side, are they identical?
Mm-hmm.
Is this side identical to this side?
No.
No, because look, this is missing right here. Is this one missing something? So this is a no. Okay, what about the next one here? What about this Q? Does this side match this side?
No.
No, because when you flip this up, is this side missing something?
Yes.
Missing something, so this is a no. What about this A here? If I have this side, does it match this side?
Yes.
Yes, so this does have a line of symmetry, yes. What about this Z?
No. No.
No, because when you fold it over, they're going in the wrong direction. They don't match up, do they?
No.
All right, so let's look down here. It says draw a line of symmetry on each letter. Where would I need to draw a line of symmetry on this E?
In the middle, like,
I would need to draw it.
Across the second line.
I would need to draw it right through
Yeah.
here, right?
yeah.
That's where I'm going to need to draw it to be a line of symmetry so that this half matches this half. Okay. What about this W? Lily Shue, are you working with us or what are you doing? You need to be looking at the screen. You're turned around. All right. I need to draw a line of symmetry for this one right up through the middle so that this half looks identical to this half. Okay? Let's look at the U. Where would I need to draw it? Do I want to draw it this way? Or do I want to draw it this way? Up and down, yes. I want to draw it vertical. Okay, so that this side will match this side. Okay, what about the T? Do I want to draw it this way?
No.
Or do I want to draw it this way?
Second way.
I want to draw vertical right up through the middle there. Okay? And put it back and put it in the middle. Okay? So that right there gives you a line of symmetry on your letters. Okay? The next thing down says draw the second half of the symmetrical letter. What am I going to need to draw to make this symmetrical on the bottom? What am I going to need to draw?
The other half of the C.
The other half of the C. Okay, let's see if this thing will let me draw a C. Okay, so I need to draw the bottom half of that C. It's not exactly like that because my drawing's not exact, but you know. Let me try again. Went all the way around. Didn't want that. All right, we'll try that. All right, what's this letter here?
K.
So we need to finish the K. We need to finish the K. What's this letter here?
M.
M. Okay, so we need to draw up, and we need, whoops, and we need to draw the bottom half. And what letter is this?
A.
A.
So we
A
need to
capital
draw.
A.
We need to draw down. My thing moved. And we need to draw across, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that finishes our symmetry for letters, okay? That was your letters. Now, the other sheet is not quite as, yes, here's the answer key for that. Oh, well, y'all have already seen that, never mind. All right, so the other sheet that you have looks like this.
Oh, yupper.
Okay, it looks like this. All right, it says home sweet symmetrical home. All right, it says some of these houses are symmetrical and some are not. It says to color the symmetrical houses light blue and color the houses that are not symmetrical light green. Then for each symmetrical house, draw the lines of symmetry with a red crayon. Okay? So first, let's decide which houses are symmetrical. Let's look at this first house here. Is this house symmetrical if I draw it this way?
No.
Mm-mm.
Is this house symmetrical if I draw it this way?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so we have a red line that shows that it is symmetrical. Okay, what about this house here? If I draw this house a line through it, is it symmetrical?
Nope.
No.
Why not?
There's a door, and there's not a door on the other side.
That's
And there's a different window.
exactly. So no, this one is not. What about this one? Let's draw a line there.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. What about this one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's look at the next one then. Let's draw a line up through the middle there.
Nope.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Mm-mm.
Say no? Why?
So there's a door on one side and there's 2 windows on the other.
Exactly. So this one is not symmetrical, so we cannot put a line on it. All right, so let's try the next one here.
Yep.
That one is.
No, it's
Wait,
not.
no, because there's a
No, it's
chimney.
not.
Chimney.
Exactly. One side has a chimney. So this side does not match this side. Okay, let's talk
Chimney.
about this one.
Yep.
Yes. It has 2 chimneys.
Yes, it has 2 windows, 3 windows, a chimney, and half of a door. 3 windows, a chimney, and half of a door.
Miss
Okay.
Miller,
Yes,
what is a chimney?
it's a that's the way you say it, chimney.
I say chimney.
I know,
Me
Yeah.
too.
but if you say it the way it's written, it's pronounced a different way.
I didn't
Alright.
know it's not that way.
What about this one?
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, we got some
I'm
more down here.
expecting.
What about this one?
Yep.
Yep.
I got a no and a yes. Which is it?
Yes, it's yes, it's yes, it's yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's yes, it's yes.
Draw it and see.
Oh, Lord.
Is it a yes?
Yep.
Hey, Lexi, thanks for joining us. All right, let's look at the next one. Riley, what do you tell me about this one? Yes or no? Is it a yes or a no?
Yes.
Let's see. Do we have the same thing on this side as this side?
Yup.
Okay, let's try this one. Ansley, you want to help me out with this one? Lucas. Ansley, is this one symmetrical?
Sorry, my vacuum fell.
Ansley, look at this picture here. If we draw a line right down the middle of it, are both sides the same?
No.
Correct.
No.
So this one does not symmetrical. All right, Cameron, help me out with this one. Is it yes or no? Yes? All right, let's draw a line and see. Everyone agree with Cameron?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so now we have a couple other things we need to do. We drew a red line through the symmetrical ones. Color the symmetrical houses light blue. So we need to color our houses light blue, right? So let me see if I can get a crayon here.
I don't have crayons. I have color pencils.
Oops. Maybe I can feel mine. I'm just going to put a blue around mine because on the computer it's not letting me shade it.
color pencils and crayons are the exact same
Oh, it
thing.
did.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
But then it covered
One's
up.
just in a pencil.
No.
Dude, it's not
All right.
It don't got that big thing on the end. That's.
All right. So we need to
Whatever.
draw around each one of these. We need to color them blue. I'm gonna put just a box around so you can still see mine, okay?
okay.
All of these need to have a box around them.
Hold on, I'll be back. I gotta go get my stuff.
Okay. So you guys should be doing the same thing I'm doing and putting a box or coloring it around it because that was part of our instructions.
Mm-hmm.
So all of you should be working just like me. Okay, is everybody about done?
I literally just got my color pencils.
Oh, okay. All right. And then the other thing says, and color the houses that are not symmetrical, light green. So now I'm going to put a box that's going to be green. Whoop, around the houses that are not symmetrical. Okay, so your sheet should look like mine except with colors on your houses. Okay, does everybody understand why they're symmetrical and why they're not?
Uh-huh.
Okay, both sides have to be the same. If a butterfly, when a butterfly's wings go like this, are the butterfly's wings symmetrical?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why?
Miss Miller,
They're the same shape.
They're the same shape. Yes, Mia?
the letter F isn't symmetrical.
The letter F is not symmetrical. You're correct.
You put a blue around it.
Well, I wasn't doing the letter. I was doing the house.
I know, and it has a chimney, but the other side don't.
Oh, you're right. Thank you, Mia. I need to fix that. This
We
one-
said it wasn't.
Yeah, we said it wasn't, but then I left my line, didn't I?
And L.
I did the same thing to L.
Yep.
No, L's the same.
L is symmetrical.
Yeah, Lucas, you were even yelling. It's symmetrical.
Okay, but I need to take off the,
Yeah, and you put a green outline around it.
green means not symmetric. Oh, this one is supposed to have a blue one.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
The line is ending up blue.
Oh, my line went blue instead of red.
Mhm.
My thing is just not, it's not wanting to cooperate tonight, is it?
No,
There.
it doesn't want to do school.
All right, is that, now we right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sometimes when I click on something before I click off of something else and it messes it up. But yours should be painted blue, green, blue, blue, green, green, blue, blue, green, blue, green, blue. Okay? All right, so that is our symmetry. Now we're going to move on from symmetry to, last week we talked about consumers and producers, right?
Yeah.
We did. We talked about, what is a consumer?
rubbing their mic.
Yeah, somebody's rattling something. It's making it hard to hear. What's a consumer?
Somebody that eats a thing.
Exactly. Something that eats something with their mouth. Okay? A consumer must eat something, whether it's plants or animals. They have to eat something through their mouth to be a consumer. Okay? What's a producer?
Somebody that makes the food.
Like cows?
Somebody that
Cows
makes
are
the
not
food.
producers.
Somebody that makes the food.
Something that makes its own food. What kind of thing would make its own food?
Plants.
Plants. That's exactly right. Okay, I'm missing somebody on my roll here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What am I missing? Figure it out. All right. So, I have a task card, some task cards, and we're just going to kind of read through these, and you're going to try to decide, are they talking about a producer, or are they talking about a consumer? Okay? All right. So let me, all right, the first one says, Jake works at a bakery. He makes cupcakes and sells them to people who buy them for parties. Jake is a what?
Producer.
He's a producer because he's producing food for someone else. He's not actually eating it. Okay?
Harder than what?
Okay. I need everybody paying attention. Okay. All right, so look at the second one here. Annie's dog, Dot, has run out of dog food. Annie goes to the pet store and buys Dot more. Annie is a Is Annie gonna eat the dog food?
No, she's a producer.
Dot's the consumer. In that. Dot is actually eating the food, and Annie's just going to get it for them.
Providing the food.
Providing the food, right. All right, Ben needs a new car. He goes to the car lot and buys a new car. Ben is a
Consumer.
consumer. He's not eating the car, but he's going to buy the car. Okay?
Imagine eating a car.
Yeah, that would be
That'd
strange.
take years
Okay.
or
It'd be
days.
impossible.
All right, so let's look at, Taylor lives on a farm. She grows lots of corn and wheat. Taylor also has a big apple tree. Taylor is a,
Producer.
no, she lives on the farm.
Oh.
Consumer.
She's going to eat that stuff, so she's going to consume the apples and the corn and the wheat. Okay?
Consumer.
Michael gets an Xbox Live. He purchases the new video game he has been saving for. Michael is a
Producer.
Does he produce the video game or does he buy the video game?
Consumer.
A consumer is also somebody that purchases something. Okay, remember we got that from economics class, remember?
Yeah.
When you buy something, you're a consumer. And if you make the product, you're a producer. Okay? Andrew is a great house builder. He builds houses for people in the community.
Producer.
He's a producer. Okay? All right. So that was just a few of those little things that I wanted to show you. Okay? Let's talk a little bit about a food chain. All right? You were supposed to do something this week on your activity board with the food chains, right? We said that in the food chain, You see my board?
Mhm.
The person, what makes you have the sun is the very first thing, right? Because without the sun, the plants can't do photosynthesis, right? Is that yes? Yes. Okay. So then you have producers. And we said that they were plants. Okay? So your trees, your plants, your flowers, all of those are your producers. They make their own food. What's going to eat that plant? What's going to eat that plant? Nobody knows what's going to eat the plant?
Animal.
Some kind of animal? Okay. So what is an animal? An animal would eat with it.
Mouth.
So it is a
Producer. I mean, not a producer, consumer.
consumer. Okay. So you got some kind of animal that's going to eat that, and that's going to be your primary consumer. Okay. Okay. Then I'm going to kind of bring it around to here. Okay. After you have your primary consumer, all right, there might be something that eats your primary consumer. That's going to be another consumer. What kind of consumer did we say that was? That's going to be your secondary consumer. Okay? Can y'all see that words on my board?
Yeah.
You've got your son, your producer, your primary consumer, then your secondary consumer, and your food chain can go on from there, and you can have a third consumer. Okay, and on from there. Can you think of some things that would start like this? Name me something that would be eaten by something small. What's going to get eaten by something small? You got a plant. Name some kind of plant that something eats. Something small.
Flowers.
Oh,
Okay, you got flowers.
ear. Leaf.
What's going to eat the flower?
A worm.
A worm.
Caterpillar.
A Mr. Worm.
What's going to eat the worm?
A bird.
A bird.
Mr. Birdie.
And what's going to eat the bird?
A bear.
A bear?
Mr. Bear. Rawr.
All right. So in this, you have your producer, your primary consumer, your secondary consumer, and your third consumer. Okay. Somebody put something screen share and take it off, please. Okay. So this is a food chain. A food chain goes from one to the next, to the next, to the next. All right? Food chains are what we've been talking about lately. there's another part to food chain. Okay? There's something called a food web. All right? In a food chain, you can see one thing eats the other, but in a food web, you might have something that eats the 2 or 3 things. Okay? A food web, and we're going to talk more about a food web next week. We're going to talk about a food web, but a food web is like a spider web. Does a spider web just go in one direction?
No.
There's
No.
a multiple.
A spider web goes off in different directions, right? It kind of goes like this, right? So you might have something here like plants. And you might have several things that eat plants. Okay? You might have cows. You might have crickets. You might have butterflies. You might have frogs. You might have humans. All right, and you might have deer. Okay, and you might have worms, like you said a minute ago. But on a food web, okay, there's not just these things eating this plant, all right? Because frogs might eat the crickets. Humans can eat deers. Humans can eat cows. Okay? The frog might eat the worm. The crickets might eat the worm. You see how it gets complicated with arrows going around? Like a spider web. When you think of it as a web, you think about how all these things are interacting with each other. Okay? A food chain, you see it go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And you don't see a bear eating worms. They just don't usually eat worms. But in a food web, and I'm going to show you an actual web next week, and we're going to talk about webs and how they are connected. But they go from one thing might eat 2 or 3 things on there, on a web, instead of just one thing, okay? So we'll talk more about webs next week, but this week we're talking about chains. And the one thing we left off was decomposers, okay? So when the worm and the bird and the bear, let me move this other way. When the worm and the bird and the bear drop things off, okay, they leave things for the decomposer to grow on. Okay, so they're waste material. If they die, if a bear, a bird, or a worm die, they're decomposing. That leaves things for mushrooms to start growing on. If they go to the bathroom, that leaves something there that's going to decay, and that's where your mushrooms are going to start growing. Okay? So if you have mushrooms growing in your yard and you have a dog in your yard, guess what's fueling, guess what's giving that mushroom its nutrients it needs? Any idea?
I know it is, but I'm not going to say it.
Okay? It's actually called feces if you want to say the word instead of poop. You can say feces. Okay? So once these things leave your mushroom is living. Also, the flower, when it dies, the stem and stuff, it'll leave nutrients there that the mushroom can start growing on. Okay? So your decomposers are going to be living off of these things in your food chain. All right? Okay. So I wanted to talk to you about that. And then tonight I have something a little bit fun for us. Since we can't go on real field trips, okay?
Oh no.
I was looking on to see if we could find us a virtual field trip.
Taylor, I got a question.
Yes.
My grandma asked today if we get our field trip money back.
Yes, that should have already been mailed out.
I got mine.
Yeah, that should have already been mailed out. If you have not gotten that back, you need to let me know so I can check on it. Okay. We can't go on field trips, and the North Carolina Zoo is closed right now. But you know, what do they have in there?
Animals.
They have lots of animals. Do you think all those animals live in the same habitat?
Nope.
No.
Nope. But they're all living in the same community right now, right?
Yeah.
They're
Yes,
all
yes.
living in that same community in the same little ecosystem that they've created for them. Okay. So they have populations of animals there because they have more than one of the same animal. And they have the type of habitats there that the animals live in, which would be a good thing for us to see, right? Well, I couldn't actually find one on habitats and populations, but I did find, and this one, I'm not going to show you the whole piece because it's an hour long.
Oh
What
God.
I did was I put it in the 4th grade YouTube page under the playlist of North Carolina Zoo virtual tour. And you can go back and look at this later, okay, to see the parts that I'm not going to show you. All I'm going to show you tonight is going to only take about 10 minutes or so. This lady's kind of funny. She starts talking about, and this was a live show that she was doing, so you'll hear her looking off to the side talking to somebody who's taking questions on the computer from people that are on their webinar with them, okay? So I'll let her introduce herself here. Let me share screen share. All right, can y'all see that?
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see if I can get, oh, if I go full view, then I can't see y'all. So let me go back a minute. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start it back at the beginning, and then I'm going to move it up because she goes into talking about several different things. At one point, she's talking about polar bears and penguins, but she doesn't actually have a polar bear and a penguin there to show you. You can go back and look at those later, and she shows you an actual foot of a polar bear, but not a real polar bear. Yes, Cameron?
I was watching that earlier for my homework, and I found out a penguin can go 87 miles per hour.
Okay, so you watched the whole thing, or just the beginning?
Half of it. I didn't
Like
watch
half
all
of
of
it?
it.
All right, well, it's pretty interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like he said, it's really interesting, and so I'm only going to show you a little bit about halfway through, but I'm going to let her introduce her name, and so you'll know what she's doing.
My name's Nikki. I'm a community education coordinator here at the North Carolina Zoo, and thank you for joining us today for our Animal Stars program. So just to go over what's going to happen today. So if you have any questions, make sure you ask those in the Q&A box, the question and answer.
All right, so her name is Nikki, and she's with the zoo, and they're doing a thing, but since the zoo is closed, and that's what she's talking about. So I'm going to run this up to 32 minutes, I think is where, okay, right in here, we'll start. She's going to bring something out, and she's going to talk about this. Did you see this, Cameron?
No.
All right, let's go back, right about, okay, right there, I'm going to let her start talking again.
Oh.
Heads.
Okay.
But he's
What's the limit?
dragon-esque, dragonish. So
Is
this
that an alligator?
Cypress today? Yeah, so this is Cypress. Does anybody know what kind of dragon he is?
He's a dragon.
Dragon.
We'll say saltwater
Wow.
frog, proper alligator,
Okay.
gator,
Guesses?
alligator,
There you go.
lizard, baby Komodo.
Oh, I wish we could have gotten our baby Komodo. Yeah. Right. This is your American alligator. Absolutely. So not a dragon, but that's all right. He's still pretty cool, isn't he?
Oh, Sarah and Shannon said specifically American alligator.
Nice job.
Favorite?
Nice
Okay,
job.
Special.
Nice job, guys. So, right, so this is your American alligator, and this is a baby one, a young one. And we'll see a little bit closer. Got really cool eyes. They have beautiful eyes. Zoom in on him. So, he is kind of on the smaller side.
That's not the one
So
I
either and I don't know if you know, alligators can get pretty big, but when they start off, they're pretty small. And if you look, he's got these really cool kind of stripes on his body. You see all those? Because if you can imagine, he's going to be living in the water. And there's a lot of different reflections and refractions and circles kind of on the water. And when the sun's reflecting on it, and it kind of, those stripes kind of break it up. And so it helps him to do something in the water. Anybody know what that stripes and all those colorations, what it would help him do? What's that fancy word?
Oh, yep, camouflage.
Wow.
Stella, Leslie, Wendy, Grayson, Gloria, Andrea, Holden, Nika, Aurora, Tara, Kim.
A lot of smart kids out there. Nice job. Nice job.
Long crap.
Absolutely. Good camouflage. So it helps them blend in. And another really good camouflage is they look like statues. So they don't move. So they're what we call ambush predators. So basically they sit and they don't move and they wait for food to come to them. So he'll hide under the water, and only thing sticking out are those eyes and the nose. So that way he can see, and of course he can breathe while he's waiting for food to come in. And he doesn't move. A lot of people see our alligators here at the zoo and they think they're not real. But they are. That's just what they do. They just sit and wait for food to come down. Yes, we have a question?
Yeah, so Nathaniel and Brad wanted to know how old Cypress is. Now,
Well-
that was another question. Somebody asked their name. So Cypress.
Cypress is his name. Yep. So Cypress,
Ethan.
we're guessing, what, 2, 3 years old? Somewhere in there?
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
We're guessing. We're not 100% sure. So we got Cypress because somebody had him and his roommate Bayou as pets. And we don't think they were taking really great care of them because we're not sure if they weren't being fed right or if they just weren't in a proper housing or taken care of very well. Because when we got them, they were tiny. So they were probably about, when we got them, oops, sorry buddy, you were nice and comfortable. I just interrupted it. Oops, let me see if I can get him comfortable again. All right, apparently he likes that one position. There we go. There we go. Or not. Please takes a minute to let him relax. So I was trying to point out, when we got him, he was probably about, his pull from nose to tail was about from his nose to the base of his tail, so about here, from his nose to there, was about what they came in that size. So they were super tiny, and they were about a year or 2 old, which was really, really tiny. So in the wild, they'd be a lot bigger. So they would probably be, at 2 to 3 years old in the wild, they would probably be 2 or 3 times the size. So they were really, really, really small. So we're not sure why or what happened, but we got, I'm telling you, since we got him, he is like double, almost triple in size since we've got him. And we'll only have them for a short period of time because it's going to be to a point where they're going to get so big that it's going to be harder to handle them, and it's not going to be safe to handle them because they have all those little sharp teeth. Right now they're tiny, but those little teeth are going to get bigger and bigger.
And we actually have a question that kind of goes with that. So Holden wanted to know how big they get. And I think it's somebody else.
Nice.
Yeah, Addison.
Lucas.
Right. So they can get up to, what's the max, 12 and 12 feet, somewhere in there. We have a gator, our big gator, our gator boy. He's about 10 feet, and he's about 300 to 500 pounds or something in there. So they can get pretty big. Boys bigger than girls. So we're not sure exactly so when he gets to a certain point, we've already got a location, a home for him picked out where they can go and live out their lives and grow as big as they want. So that's why we took them in. We made sure we had somewhere at one point when they were too big for us to use as ambassadors, that they would have a place to go and live out their lives. Yeah, so we've already got that point, that place already picked out for him, so he can grow and he might be able to get up to 10, 12 feet. Never know.
A couple other questions for you. So we have a lot of people wanted to know this one. Liz, Silpa, Holden, a lot of people wanted to know what they eat.
Let me ask you guys. What do you think? Are they plant eaters or are they meat eaters? That fancy science word. Are they carnivores or meat eaters, or are they plant eaters or herbivores?
Meat. Good job, everybody.
Right, they are.
Isn't that
So
something we've been going
pretty much
over?
Anything that crosses
Yeah.
over, that's kind of small, take something down. So if there's a large gator, he can easily take down a deer. They can grab it. He can lunge out and grab it with his powerful jaws. And then if it's too big, what they'll do is they'll actually drag it under the water and kind of stuff it under the water. Let it kind of break down a little bit. And then that way they can go down and have a little bite here and there. Because they can't chew their food, so they have to take one bite and then kind of swallow it whole. So they can't swallow a whole deer at once. So they have to let the water go. Eat it. Take chunks of it at a time. So they'll eat a lot of it. So what do we feed him? He gets probably chicken, and probably fish, some meat, that. So variety of food they would in the wild. My favorite thing is they're hiding. I'll see if we can get up close again. On this lower jaw, he's like, "What is that microphone?" He's looking at it, going, "What is that? What a pretty." Kind of on their lower jaw, or in upper jaw too. So as he's sitting in the water, waiting for food to come to him, if a fish swims by, it sends out vibrations in the water as it's moving. And those vibrations hit his jaw. And they're very sensitive. They have a lot of nerve endings there, and so he can feel the vibration, and then that way he can sense that there's an animal nearby. So pretty cool way of being able to sense his world. All right, I'm going to put Cypress back.
So a quick question to that, if we could ask, we have so many questions and we should answer them all, everybody. But one.
All right. So on this, that's not actually the one I was wanting to show you, but that was somehow. Let me see if I can find the other one real quick. No, this is a different one that I was watching earlier, so I didn't realize that she had another one there. But the one I put on the link for you to watch had a different animal there. Okay, they must have several of them, but this lady gives you some things, and during her presentation, she talked about some of the things. Who is that? Everybody mute yourself, please. Okay, during her presentation, she talked about some of the things we've been going over. She talked about where their habitat was, that they lived in the water and they came out on land. Okay, she talked about they were predators. That's what we've been discussing. Predators and preys, because they're a consumer. They eat other animals. She said that they are carnivores because they don't eat the plants. They eat only meat. So a lot of the things that she was telling you about Cypress, the American alligator, is things that we have been learning about for our science, okay? And if you want to go and watch these, I'll try to put some more of them on there because this one's a different one than I was watching earlier today. But the one that's already on the YouTube channel, it's got a thing on there about snakes and polar bears and penguins and some other interesting things that she's going to tell you. And she'll also tell you some about their habitats and populations and communities. And she'll tell you about their eating habits and what they like to eat. So all of that stuff that she's saying goes along with what we're learning about right now. Okay? So I'm going to stop sharing that one. And like I said, I will try to go back and put some more in that playlist so you guys can go on there. She does talk for about an hour because she goes over several different things. So you could watch part of it and then come back later and watch part of it another time. Do you have a question, Lexi? So if you want to go on there and check that out, like I said, I'll try to put some more on there. Okay. But that's kind of what everything that I want to talk to you tonight about. So you can go ahead and unmute yourself, and then if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Cameron?
What's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal? Sure, I have a lot of animals that I like. I like snakes. I don't know. I like snakes. I don't like spiders.
What was that?
I don't know.
Somebody's sibling.
Maggie, do you have a question?
Yeah, you know the message you sent us that we had to like read our favorite books.
Say again, Lucas. You gotta be quiet. I can't hear her.
You know the message you gave us that we had to sing a song and read a book. Like I try to like do the video, it doesn't work and it doesn't send it.
Okay.
It keeps saying retry, and I did it, but it doesn't work.
We should, if you went to comments and put it on there, it just uploaded it, copy. You'd have to copy it and paste it. That's what you do. Paste it into the. All right. Now, I've got another sheet that I'm going to send you as your Zoom activity for tonight. Okay? This will be a fun activity. I'm going to show you the first thing that you're going to do. All right. Does everybody see this? This is going to be a symmetry selfie.
Oh,
okay?
God.
You're going to take
No.
You're going to take a picture of yourself, okay?
Fine.
And then you're going to draw the other half, just like you have right here in these pictures. You're going to draw
Do
the
that
other
on
half
TikTok.
of your face, okay? So I'm going to send you this sheet right here.
I spent hours
Okay.
on this thing.
I'm going to send you this sheet. You're going to put your picture, half of your face up here, and draw the other half. And then you're going to tell me what lines of symmetry that you have. Okay? See this page?
No.
Okay, maybe
Who's making those noises?
yes, please stop.
It is Mag.
Who's farting?
Now can you see this page?
Yeah.
All right, you're going to get a page just like this. I'm going to send it to you right after we get off of here. And you're going to put a picture on here, half of your face on one side and draw the other half. And then down here, you're going to see what signs of symmetry you have. Okay? And then you're going to send me a picture of your drawing. Okay? So that's going to be your assignment for tonight. Okay, your Zoom assignment. You guys still need to finish your Zoom assignment that you were supposed to have done by tonight, which is that measuring the angles. And send that to me. And then you need to do this, have this one done by Monday. Your symmetry selfie.
What?
Symmetry selfie done by Monday. Okay? Does everybody understand?
Yeah.